Welcome back to another Story Saturday here at Podcast 1111. The story I've decided to share with you as part of our procrastination week is about someone who was tasked with something he was ill qualified for, didn't want to do, had no interest in, and hoped other people would handle instead. His name was Frodo. For those not familiar with the name, he's the protagonist in the famed Lord of the Rings saga, which is basically the blueprint for all fantasy stories that follow. Frodo was a simple fellow with simple tastes and interests, like gardening, good food at home, being at home. At the same time, he had what we would call a just do it mentality. When he was told that he possessed what was called the One Ring, the most powerful article in their world, he immediately tried to give it to someone he thought was more qualified to handle it. But when he was told he needed to be the one to hold on to it, and that he needed to leave immediately to keep the ring from being found, he did so. No questions asked. He packed his little bag and he went. When he did find people who were qualified to do what was needed with the ring, bigger, stronger heroes, warriors, leaders of their clans, while they all quarreled and couldn't decide who would do what and who would go where, Frodo frankly said, "I'll do it. I'll take the ring." And then he added, "But I do not know the way." Even though he had no idea what he was doing, he was willing to step up and do what needed to be done. And he didn't wait until the time was perfect. He didn't wait until he'd mastered sword fighting, or being a scout, or even being a ring bearer. He just went to do what was needed. This is the opposite of procrastination. And he was totally willing to leave his comfort zone, his comfort home. Nothing he did from there on out was comfortable. It only got worse and worse, scarier and scarier, more and more dangerous, more and more horrible, quite frankly. Poor Frodo. All he could do was his best, and he did. Fortunately for him, he had an accountability partner, a friend. They took turns. When one was weak, the other was strong. And no one supported anyone the way Sam, Wise Gamgee, supported Frodo. We know that Frodo may not have made it had it not been for Sam. And even though for me, Sam is a huge hero in the story, he's my favorite, it really is Frodo who completed the task that no one was willing to complete. Sam didn't do this on his own. He supported Frodo, but Frodo was the one willing to take the ring to Mordor and throw it into the fires of Mount Doom, which is basically a volcano. It was slow going. If you think the movies are long, you should read the timeline in the books. It took forever. But he stuck with it. He was persistent. Perseverance won the day. He was willing to do the right thing, no matter the cost, no matter the personal danger. And he was even willing to show mercy for one that seemed unlikable and untrustable, the creature Gollum, who was a mirror to Frodo of what he might become if he held on to the ring too long, as the ring had the ability to consume the person carrying it. So, if Frodo could do that, you can get off the dime and do what you need to do. Now go take your own ring to Mordor and do what you need to do. You don't need to be ready. The time doesn't need to be perfect. You don't have to have everything in order. You just need to stand on your 2 hobbit feet and start walking. To end on a lighter note, I will just quote the paraphrased version of one of Tolkien's famous quotes and remind you, do not meddle in the affairs of dragons, for you are crunchy and taste good with ketchup. Chariste Somme, everyone. See you at the mouth of Mount Doom at the gates of Mordor. For Frodo.